You hear that? Oh, don't listen to me. I'm not here.
What's going on, everybody? This is Alone Together Pittsburgh, Alone Together Streaming. I am your host, Patrick Jordan. We are here wrapping up week 20 for Alone Together Streaming. We started this thing as thinking it was going to be 2 to 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, 8 weeks would have been really pushing it when this thing started back in March. We started this show the day that the shelter-in-place order came down from the state, and we've been doing it ever since, 3 to 4 days a week. So I want to thank you for joining us. If this is your first time, welcome. It doesn't get any better than this. We're here tonight. This is episode 67 and the end of week 20. I can't believe it's a round number. We keep going past these milestones. But thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for welcoming us into your home, your mobile devices, your laptop, wherever you may be. Hopefully it is being socially distant and covering your face with a mask from your nose to your chin. If you watched the show last night, you saw something epic happened last night. Not only we had a great regular show, we did a little add-on called Film Club, and we talked about the masterpiece. Some might call it the Casablanca of buddy films. It was Midnight Run, and the show ran long. We did about an hour conversation roundtable by 5 or 6 people about the genius and some of the flaws, but mostly the genius of the buddy film Midnight Run, which I know it hit a chord because I got like text messages from a ton of people today wanting to talk about Midnight Run. Now, I just told them to watch the show because I left it all on the field. But that said, we've got a great show for you tonight. We've got our regulars. We've got Natalie Bencivenga is going to be doing 5 Minutes With. We also have Dave Bracey is going to be doing the local brew roundup. And we also have a great group of people coming from 4 Mile Run to talk about some issues with the Manautou connector. So that's going to be coming up first. But before we get to any of that, we have a little thing we call the Engine House 25 Winery Jag-Off poll. All right. We started our own little Jag-Off bracket poll back in March when March Madness got canceled, and we've been stretching it out ever since. All right. So the big Jag-Off polls, the ones that you've known and loved, the overnight polls, okay, they're taking a little bit of a hiatus because the Sweet 16, they get a little bye. What's happening now is the little Jag-Off polls are doing battle. But before I tell you who was in the battle from last night, I'm going to tell you a little bit about our sponsor for this section. We're talking about Engine House 25 Winery. Now, if you don't know, Engine House 25 Winery is located right there where the Strip District meets Lawrenceville, right at Doughboy Square. The Doughboy is basically looking at Engine House 25, which is an old fire engine house, also houses the Roberto Clemente Museum. Now, they have some of the best wine you're going to find anywhere. I don't know how to describe wine, but they've got, I will put it up against any bottle that you have. They have at least 8 to 10 reds, 2 blends of reds at any day of the week. They also have a Chardonnay that's killer, and they also have a great rosé. And if you use the code Alone Together Pittsburgh, if you call by the code, it's not really a code. You just say, hey, I found out about you on Alone Together Pittsburgh. You get $5 off a bottle. Go to eh25.com. You can get that going. I think this weekend they're going to have some wine slushies to go if you're into that thing. Go to eh25 if you're into wine. There's no wait. Also, they are doing delivery. They are doing delivery right now. Free local delivery during the pandemic. Also, they have curbside. So you go, you pay online, you show up, they put it right in your trunk, gloves and masks to the T. All right, so they're sponsoring this. So we had a showdown last night. A showdown. The winners. So letting you guys know, we have these in-show polls, right? Where there is a 2 people are doing the battle. The winner of Wednesday faces off against the winner of Thursday on a Friday. This is a winner right here. Dave, tell me what happened in our overnight poll.
Oh, I slipped and I put it up on the screen prematurely.
It was really so small, no one saw.
I didn't want to put it up at all because you know what? This is a family show. This is a family show first and foremost. We have little tiny little people watching the show, little babies are watching Alone Together Pittsburgh. And what happened overnight was an absolute slaughter. I'm disgusted. It was a showdown between PhatManDee and Century 3 Chevrolet. And listen, these are all the best. These are wonderful. Oh, the Jingle. Yes, I'm sorry. The Jingle. And you know what? These are 2 things that I love. But when 2 things I love start duking it out and it just gets ugly, man, what do you do?
Was it duking it out, or was it just like Mandy pummeling them with a baseball
It was
bat?
like Mandy curbs killed. I don't want to use graphic language. It's a family show. But what Mandy did to Century 3 Chevrolet Jingle, Century 3 is not going to be whistling that tune much longer, as far as I'm
It ain't
concerned.
minutes from the mall no more. Well, here's to you, Century 3 Jingle. It still lives in the earworms of all the residents of the area. I'd play it for you, but we'd probably get booted for copyright, and Facebook would shut us down.
More
So-
like Century 3 Chevrolet. Oh, my God.
Well, PhatManDee still is alive, and she's going to go on to try to make it to the big Jagoff bracket poll. She's got one more hurdle to get into that area. So here's to you, PhatManDee, a frequent guest on the show and an icon in the Pittsburgh area and beyond. Here's to you. So, Dave, we should also, while we're at this, we should tell the people at home about our in-show poll that they can go to right now.
I just want to reiterate that this is a family show. Amanda Blair.
Amanda Blair, thank you for chiming in last night and helping us with our round table. Okay, now I'm going to say this here. Okay. Oh, she's still chiming in. 8 minutes from the mall, no more. Okay, there we go.
I don't know how people get control. Like, I'm supposed to be pulling the strings back here, and we got, like, it's like the audience members are running amok. PhatManDee, you better stay away from this show is all I'm saying tonight after what we saw you do.
This is what happens. I mean, she did it. So I'm fearful for other people and things and phrases that are in that poll. It's going to be rough. But so we had some winners from Wednesday and Thursday. Okay, from the Wednesday and Thursday show. They are going to do battle tonight. You at home can vote. You the people who are listening to this on the podcast version, not going to get it, right?
Nobody else.
Only the people who are watching live. So get your votes in, get them going, tell your friends about it. Who's showing down tonight, Dave?
I think you're gonna have to make a call on this one, Patrick. But here's the thing: we got yesterday's winner, which I believe we settled, but for whatever reason, the graphic.
We did settle. It's okay. I'm going to take this here. Okay, Lloyd
Take over.
McClendon, former manager for the Pittsburgh Pirates, stole first base. He didn't like the call, got into a fight with the umpire, and instead of kicking dirt on somebody, spitting, doing anything, chest bumping, he just took first base off the first baseline and went home. Okay. We had Jim Leland against him, berating Barry Bonds, showing him who was boss. But Lloyd McClendon won in a tiebreaker. It was 50-50, and we had one of our guests voted for Lloyd to take it, okay? So this is just basically you're voting for Lloyd McClendon. Or if you vote for Jim Leland to screw with us, that's fine if it's on there. But that old feeling, I mean, it seems like old times, is a Charles Grodin Chevy Chase Goldie Hawn vehicle. And when we were supposed to do our Charles Grodin, Pittsburgh's own Charles Grodin conversation about Midnight Run, some would say Charles Grodin's finest work, we had 2 Charles Grodin movies up there, and that old feeling beat, I believe, was it Beethoven or some other dog name with Martin Short. So you at home get to vote on who's going to win this and get a shot to go against a behemoth, like someone who takes no prisoners, like PhatManDee, like a giant of Pittsburgh. So get that going right now and hit up Engine House 25 Wines. Don't forget, you get $5 off a bottle if you say you found out about them through Alone Together Pittsburgh. So we got a lot of guests. We got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. Just want to say one little thing. I went out into the world yesterday, and for a couple of seconds today, I am not exactly pleased with mask wearing outdoors. There was, I believe, like a lot of people were not wearing masks at all. Some people had them, down around their chin while they're walking, and I get it. You're outside. There's a gray area in the governor's order on wearing face masks that you should be wearing them. But if you're around someone 6 feet, you definitely should wear them. So I was somewhat feeling like I might be the crazy one. I might be the one who's out of sorts because I'm locking everything down. If I go out, which is rare, I'm wearing a mask. Nobody's coming over. The house is a bunker. If rarely a couple of family members will stop by and we talk outside, right? Masks are there. So am I crazy is what I'm saying, because I felt nuts. I was driving through Highland Park, and at Obama there was a football practice, and it did not seem like anything was different. There was a group of kids. I love watching football practice. There's nothing I like more than high school football, but like 50 kids are running wind sprints, doing agilities, pushing off on each other. No one's got a mask. Everybody's working hard, but it looked just like last summer or something different. Since we talked, the Miami Marlins, the Major League Baseball team, had 15 people that had that conducted it, so they just canceled the Marlins season. They're not playing the shortened season. Today, someone from the Philadelphia Phillies came down with it. So these are major multi-million dollar, billion dollars, if you will, companies that are doing it, and people are still catching this. And there was nobody really wearing the masks. And I'm still hearing things from friends of mine who own businesses, shops, restaurants, that are rarely open for anything but takeout right now, just because of being cost effective. But they're still getting berated by people. And I just want to say that it's not okay, you're saying that somebody telling you to wear a mask is taking your freedom. Wearing the mask is, in my opinion, and I believe it should be, factual, it's giving you your freedom. By wearing this mask, you get to go out and do normal things with just a little bit more, distance. So I don't understand what the problem is and why it's still happening. I thought we were coming around. There were, I think, 230 some odd new cases today in Allegheny County. So let's just lock it up, everybody. If you can, if you're watching this, if you have a reason why you're not going to wear a mask, please tell me. Hit up the comments, enlighten me, because I just can't understand. To me, it's seeming like not wearing a mask is becoming an IQ test, and that's not political, and nothing about wearing a mask should be. We should all be in this together. That's Patrick from Alone Together's take, and I'm sorry for wasting a couple minutes on the show here, but I was shook up. There was a park, a million kids, parents, no one having masks, all the kids playing. It was just, I just didn't understand it. I love to see it, but it's just like, it was terrifying for me. So anyway, now that you guys, thank you for letting me get that off my chest. I want to bring out, we got some great guests tonight. We got something different. We're going to have 3 different guests talking about the same subject tonight. They're going to be joining us. We've got Ziggy Edwards, Barb Warwick, and Laura Weins is going to be here, and we're all going to talk. Laura is the executive director of Pittsburghers for Public Transit. Barb is a resident of 4 Mile Run, and so is Ziggy. So we're gonna find out about the bottom of this right now. Hi, everybody. How are you?
Hey, good. Hey, how's it going?
It's all right. Thank you for joining us on a sunny day in Pittsburgh. We've had a lot of those. So I'm dying to talk to you guys about what's going on here. But I mean, I guess just to try to keep things going, I could start with Ziggy. Ziggy, so let's talk about 4 Mile Run. Anybody can take this. I just threw it to Ziggy. But so where is 4 Mile Run, and why is it so awesome?
So 4 Mile Run is a hidden gem in Pittsburgh. I grew up here. I never knew it existed until I was maybe in my 30s. And I grew up right up the hill from here. I grew up in Squirrel Hill. And I remember driving on the parkway in the backseat of my parents' car and looking out the window and seeing some of those houses up on Naylor Street and thinking, wow, I wonder where that neighborhood is. But I never knew until I started riding my bike. And then I found out about it. It's great if you ride a bike to live here. We're right on the trail. We're basically at the head of the jail trail. You can just hop on your bike, and back in the old days when people worked downtown, you could just hop on your bike and be downtown, and I don't know, if you're like me, really slow, half an hour.
All right, and but I mean, I did hear there's somewhat of a flooding problem.
Yes, there is that. Now, I am fortunate. I live up pretty much out of the flood zone. Some of my neighbors who live down the hill, and I mean, this is right at the bottom of my street. We're a small neighborhood. But yeah, you can see some of what happens when it rains. And this happens on a regular basis. the first time it happened after I moved here, I happened to be out of town that weekend. But if I had been here, I would not have been able to get to my house. I couldn't have driven into the neighborhood. In fact, a few years ago in 2016, one of the residents here and his son, they got trapped on the roof of their car. They were driving in or driving out, I should say, and it flooded. And the water started pouring in. There's the guy right there. The fire department had to come rescue them. It's a really bad situation down here. And a lot of my neighbors who have lived here longer than I have and who have been much more affected by the flooding than I have been begging the city for years to address this problem. And they were told over and over again, I'm sorry, there are just no funds to fix this. But then the Manautou Connector project came along.
Right.
And there was a lot of money for that. There's still a lot of money for that.
Yeah. Speaking of that, let's get everybody else in there. Barb, I know maybe you could tell us a little bit about the Manautou Connector and what it is and what it's supposed to be and what it actually is.
Yeah. Okay. So, can everyone hear me all right? So basically in 2015, we found out about the original plan for the Manautou Connector from a Pittsburgh Post-Gazette article. And the plan was to build a road between CMU and the Hazelwood Green development on the Monongahela River. And in order to run private shuttles between CMU and that new development. And basically that road would run through the southwest corner of Schenley Park on top of what is currently a car-free bike path, and also right next to our soccer field. So, obviously right out of the gate, the residents in the run were just up in arms, right? So, as Zig said, for a decade, they hadn't been addressing, our flooding problems had just been left, nothing done. And here the city, wanted to build this road through our neighborhood, our public park, and, they wanted to use public money to do it. So at any rate, residents of the run, myself, Zig, and a bunch of other residents, we started fighting really hard, but it was kind of like we were just kind of getting together. We weren't super organized. We were just mad, right? And so we went to public meetings. We did press conferences, and we even put on twice, and Zig was a big part of this, an annual march. And actually today is the anniversary. So this is kind of like for us, if you don't mind, like kind of like our third annual march, community march to fight this Manautou Connector project. So thanks to all the viewers. That's, thanks for being here. But at any rate, so just about this part, the city, COVID's going on, this project still hasn't been axed, right? Like despite the pandemic, despite everything, there's still millions of dollars, just being set aside for this project. And a lot of people might say, well, what's the point? Obviously the city, CMU, the Hazelwood Green developers, they're just going to do what they want, and, but actually like our fight has been effective. And to date, even though we haven't won the war, we've won quite a few battles. And an important one is that now, PWSA does have the funding and is focusing on the flooding in our area, which is cool, but it's also not enough, because in the run, we're not going to accept just taking our neighborhood and our park hostage in order to fix our flooding. So, but recently we've had a ton of help from Pittsburghers for public transit. They've helped us unify not just the run, but other communities, Greenfield, Hazelwood, Oakland, and around. And so, it's not just us. It's not just like the run residents fighting this anymore. It's all of our neighbors. And, and I really think that this is a fight that we can win. And, so I guess Laura could fill you in on where we are today.
Yeah, Laura, take it from there. I was going to throw it to you. It was a perfect segue.
Sure. Sure, yeah. So Pittsburghers for Public Transit, we're like a grassroots transit rider union. We work closely also with the transit workers. And this project was interesting to us from the outset, and we've been following it because it was ostensibly a public transportation project. The city was saying that they wanted to, originally they were planning to run driverless shuttles between CMU and Hazelwood Green. But then it's now evolved to become simply a road. So they are building a very expensive road too. It's like a $23 million road through Shenley Park. And that in itself is not, that doesn't make public transportation, right? Like people are not lacking for roads. They're lacking for means of transportation that are affordable, that are accessible, that, accommodate enough people to actually move between different areas at a reasonable pace. And the goal of this project is still to run like these micro transit shuttles, these little tiny vehicles autonomously. And I think that's about as effective as the log flume that you showed at the beginning, or like just a very similar type of technology, right? It's like, and the city, in spending $23 million, which is an amazingly large amount of money for something that is so ineffective, it was only a project that was intended to last like 5 years, to accommodate the actual transportation needs of Hazelwood Green for 5 years and then become obsolete. And so what we were really doing was working with residents of the Run and South Oakland and Hazelwood and Panther Hollow to think about an alternative solution. So what you have seen on the screen was Our Money, Our Solutions was the alternative plan that we proposed that was like, oh, you know what actually people need is some sidewalks on 2nd Avenue so they don't get hit by these like cars that are going down incredibly quickly, and some lights that work, and some like pedestrian signaling, and how about some buses that run on the weekends. And amazingly, we've won weekend service on the 93 that was just announced by the Port Authority last month. And it's a huge deal because that actually changes for people in Hazelwood in particular, their prospects of like how they can get jobs and where and when they can get groceries. It's a food desert there. And I've been just really impressed by the work of the residents of the Run and Hazelwood, and really advocating for meaningful solutions for transportation that are not this like toaster that would go through Shenley Park.
Yeah, I mean, you think they would have asked the residents before they got started and earmarked the money. Speaking of which, I mean, how many people roughly live in that neighborhood? I understand South Oakland and I mean Hazelwood, I get that, but like in the actual Run, I mean, how many people are directly affected, roughly?
I think we have about 800 homes in the Run, and then
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that answers it for me. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's worth noting too that like something like this that's like is fundamentally is like a luxury technology for CMU students, so they can get to the new robotics center at Hazelwood Green, is a serious driver of gentrification and displacement. And like Hazelwood and 4 Mile Run and Panther Hollow are working class neighborhoods, and so without any thought to or plan around how you stabilize housing there, and I think because we know that part of the intent of this too is to expand the footprint of the universities, to be able to have more student housing and so on. We know that this is going to be a driver of pushing out longtime residents.
All right. And so what's next? What's the next move here? What are you guys planning on in the future here? What's happening tomorrow? Not tomorrow, but you know what I mean.
So I think that folks, I mean, one thing that we put out too, with a bunch of help from our friends at some students at CMU who are real activists, we put out a people's audit of the Mon-Oakland connector that was looking at the effectiveness of the toaster against other kind of more reasonable transportation solutions like sidewalks and buses and things like that are also less costly. And I think continuing to uplift that, I mean, this affects every resident in the city because it is $23 million of your money out of which is like a fifth of the city operating budget. It's crazy for something that residents themselves are so opposed to and have it has such a small shelf life. And you think this is just to appeal to Carnegie Mellon, the students, just to try to and the developers of Hazelwood Green, right?
I mean, yeah. I'm seeing shades of. I mean, I went through the whole thing with the Montfayette Expressway through Braddock, so I mean, that's still on the books, by the way. They haven't scrapped that totally yet, but it's weird. It's still there, but yeah, I'm seeing, eerie shades of that here with this.
And the residents of Hazelwood actually really mobilized against that as well.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of, folks there know what they need. And I think that's true of people in 4 Mile Run, people in Panther Hollow, and people in Oakland as well. And I think there's a lot of reasons why, even like the business interests in those communities are like, well, this actually doesn't make a lot of sense for us either, because if it's unaffordable, if people with disabilities can't get on, also autonomous vehicles don't exist really yet. They don't work. So like, why are we planning for that and spending public money on it?
Yeah, it's rough. So, I mean, what can people do that are watching the show right now that are just finding out about this? How can they get involved if they want to help?
Well, they should sign the petition. If you want to put up again the Action Network, Our Money, Our Solution, Our Solutions, and it's the alternative plan that the residents came up with. We've been pushing council members to really aggressively defund the Mont Oakland Connector Project too. And again, another constituency that might be concerned is anyone who uses Shenley Park, because this will significantly impact like the tree canopy and the amount of space that's allocated to pedestrians and bicyclists and stuff like that. So sign the petition, call your council member and say, this is not a project we want going forward.
Yeah, can I say something about that real quick about Shenley Park? So it's not that they're going to, they are building, the plan as it stands right now is to build a new road. There is an existing trail that is the bike trail that is paved, it's asphalt, and that would remain. But their plan is to cut through the tree canopy, like Laura said, on the other side of the soccer field. So make a new road specifically for faster, they're saying it's for faster bikes, but it's a $23 million roadway. And part of what they have to spend all that money on is stabilizing. They have to take out all those trees, and they have to mitigate the fact that there are a bunch of, like, that is an active landslide area. So that's part of what they're going to have to spend the money on, and make it, so take out all those trees, make a road, and make it stable enough that, that heavy vehicles like the size of a minivan can get through there.
So maybe they didn't take all of this into account, but I think it's a good thing what you guys are doing. We had someone at home, Amanda, chimed in and she said they hold the meetings for residents about these decisions during the day when people are typically at work, and it drives her crazy. So yeah, go ahead.
Just to add on.
Sure, please do.
Yeah, so just to add on, just to put this sort of in a larger context for Pittsburgh as a whole, is that this really is, it's all part of the same, and keeping in mind that Peduto is up for re-election next year, but it's all part of this bigger sort of philosophy, I guess, that development is the way to improve. Develop, create this new luxury housing, create these new buildings to attract, new residents who are making $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 a year. But in fact, these are just poor investments. We should be investing in our communities, right? We should be investing in the neighborhoods that exist today and the people who are here today, and doing things, investing our money, whether that be, $15 minimum wage, whatever that may be, affordable housing in our neighborhoods, not just using public funds to support these sketchy investments in development projects like in East Liberty, displacing people, et cetera. So that just kind of puts it in the larger context of the whole of the city.
Gotcha. Well, thanks. I think we should probably roll with that one. That was I think we might end with that statement. That was right on. So thank you guys for coming out here. Ziggy, Barb, Laura, thank you for everything that you're doing, and thanks for spending some time with us here tonight. If anything comes up, any movements, hi there. If anything else comes up in the future and you need a platform, come on here and we'll have you back on if anything changes.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you guys very much. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks. You too. Thanks. Take care.
All right. enlightenment across the board. Fantastic. So check those guys out. Just go on we have the link to the website right there in our comments, and check out there. We even had a little visitor on there. That I love when that happens on the show, because everybody's home still, alone together. So we're going to move things along here right now, but I wanted to check in on our in-show poll before we get to Natalie Bencivenga's 5 Minutes With and Dave Bracey's local brews roundup. Dave, do we have any idea what's going on with the in-show poll, even though there's a third, like a fraudulent poll happening right now?
These people are masochists.
What's happening?
It's 50-50. There's the smell of steel burning. There's sulfur in the air. It's getting ugly, Patrick. This one's up to you, baby.
Okay, so it's 50-50, everybody. So Lloyd McClendon stealing first base, which is an iconic, classic Pittsburgh moment for sports. I know we don't tend to have the biggest sports audience. I tend to love sports, and like the terrible towel loss to a pickle. This is crazy. So Lloyd McClendon versus Seems Like Old Times, and if you're crazy, if you want to get loco and throw this whole thing into a whirlwind, you can have Jim Leland cussing out Barry Bonds and letting him know who was the manager of that baseball team and who was the superstar, but he wasn't a superstar anymore. So get your vote on there. That aside, you can vote right now. Also, for you guys at home, I want to tell you about one of our other sponsors, and that's Red Start Roasters. That's right, Red Start Roasters, fantastic coffee. They are the only bird-friendly coffee roaster in the Pittsburgh area. And if you go to redstartroasters.com and use the code TOGETHERPGH, you receive 10% off your order. In addition to that, they, like Engine House 25 Wines, are doing free delivery. Okay? So if you're in the Pittsburgh area, see if you qualify for it. Boom, go to the website, get it going there. Red Start Roasters. It's a fantastic, I think Pete Spenda recommends the espresso roast. And so I believe my wife also agrees with that. So get on that, redstartroasters.com. Pete, espresso, right?
Love it. I love it. I drink it every morning. I just ordered 4 bags the other day.
Good talk. Good talk. Did you use the coupon code TOGETHERPGH because you get 10% off?
I may have used a different code, but I used one of those codes.
All right, good. Get it going.
I am excited about the Engine House slushies, though. I didn't know they had wine slushies.
Oh yeah, dude, they're doing wine slushies.
I know we're talking about this sponsor, but
we got. There's so much going on here. There's so many discounts. You just can't go wrong here. This is like watching the show. You're making money. Speaking of making money, if you want to pay some of that forward, you can go to our Venmo right here. It's ticking along the screen there at TOGETHERPGH. The money that you give, whether it's $1, $2, $5, anything really counts. I mean, if you want to give more than that, that'd be great. But everything goes to the artists that are involved with the show on any given night. So I want to thank you guys for even considering it right now. I know there's some donor fatigue, but without further ado, I want to keep things rolling along with the show, and I'm excited to see who she comes up with every week. Let's see Natalie Bencivenga's 5 Minutes With.
Hey everyone, I'm Natalie Bencivenga, host of 5 Minutes With, and this week I'm really excited to have the founder and editor of the brand new Presente Pittsburgh Latino magazine, Maria Manautou, here with me. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. Thanks.
This is really exciting because I think Pittsburgh has desperately needed a Latino magazine in the community for a long time. So what was the inspiration behind this new publication for you?
So the inspiration really was, it came out of my own experience as a mom, raising my children here, even though I've been here for over 20 years, but just as a mom, it really hit me that I wasn't finding all the events and just connections to our heritage that I wanted to. And that kind of hitting that roadblock there was what inspired me to actually create it myself.
That's just so awesome. I just love a woman that's just like, you know what? I'm just going to do the thing myself. And so what are some of the topics and, talking points that you want to discuss with this new magazine, with this new venture?
Sure. So I want to make sure that the magazine is varied, so I want the information to cater to the whole Hispanic community, meaning, so there's business topics, for professionals. There is also sections for the community. That's probably one of my bigger ones, so community holds like any events that are going on. Well, nowadays, virtual meetings and conversations, but not forgetting about immigration. That's a big topic for some in the community as well. Health and wellness. I mean, very varied range.
Why do you think Pittsburgh hasn't had a publication like this yet? Why do you think this is still a 2020? Why do you think this hasn't happened?
So I think that a few different people and organizations have, done things in the past to a certain extent, but it never became big enough for it to be, for everyone to be aware of it. It's time consuming to, just get all the information and like put it out there. But again, it was a challenge, but I was willing to take it on because the people here deserved it.
And what's your background in? Do you have a background in journalism or writing, or are you coming at this from a different angle?
So my professional background is in marketing and communications. So I do have the, like writing background from when I used to do communications in the corporate world. And so that's kind of bridging together my love and passion for Latino culture, and then my professional background as well, just come together in the magazine.
Do you think at this point in history, with everything going on politically, that this type of publication is more important? Does it feel like it's more important now than ever to have something like this in the community of Pittsburgh?
So I've actually been thinking about that myself lately. I'm like, I thought about this for a long time, launching this, and it's kind of ironic that I'm launching it now when there are all these conversations going on. And but yeah, I think given that it's more out there in the headlines and all that, a good time to bring it up and say that we are here, and all the wonderful contributions that people are making in different parts of the communities, people learning about that. Because I think that many times when people get scared of what's different from what they're used to, it's just because they don't know really about it, and they have they just have different things in their head what they think something is. And so through my stories and the stories shared in Presente, I want to change that. So if it is that they have any like stereotypes or things like that, then the stories in Presente show the truth, and a big range of things that we're involved with and that are going on here from the Latino community perspective.
And what is your hope for the future in how the Latino community of Pittsburgh and beyond is treated in this country? What are your hopes for the future that people will understand?
So my hope is that people are more open about learning about others. And I mean, not only the Latino culture, just all cultures. I think that there is a lot to learn from different people if you come to it from a curiosity standpoint. So this is what I do, like what do you do there? And you take it from that. I have mentioned before that growing up in my school, there were lots of international students, and I loved that growing up, just talking to people from different places. And then even in my family, we hosted an exchange student from Denmark.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and I was when he lived with us, I think I was like around 11 years old. So I mean, like it's just so much fun, you know, learning from the food that people eat in different places, like different celebrations and things like that. So I that is what I want. I want to, you know, bring curiosity, conversations among people, and hopefully bring them to be more open about learning about others.
Oh, thank you so much, Maria, for spending 5 minutes with me and sharing this amazing new magazine. I can't wait to read it and learn more. And I look forward to continuing the conversation with you about how we can bridge these differences and celebrate our differences together. So thank you so much for being a part of 5 Minutes With.
Thank you.
Another week, you get me again. You find the best people. You bring their stories to everyone. That's awesome, Natalie.
Thank you. Well, first, can I say something before we jump into this?
Please.
I love your hair.
Oh yeah, I got my hair cut. Yeah.
It looks so nice.
It was so.
Are you doing this a lot?
It was crazy.
feel
Like
different?
was forgetting that there was like a mop of like things. So if I were like to work out or sweat or something, it would be like locked in. Now I'm just I'm just like it's pouring. Like this is how my hair usually was. Like this is shorter than normal, but like I never, the hair was longer than it ever had been, and it was like it was 20. I waited 20 weeks, so 22 weeks since I got my hair cut.
That's amazing.
And then during the pandemic, I was gonna try to wait like till this thing was done to get it cut, and I was just like, screw it. I
well,
saw
it looks very handsome.
Oh well,
Mr.
thank
Jordan.
you. Oh, thank you, Natalie. Yeah. Well, I needed that today. No, yeah. So enough about you know.
All right, we'll move on.
Enough about the headline.
I just wanted to acknowledge it because I know it's a big deal now when people are getting haircuts. So it's important. It's important to acknowledge the little things.
Well, people are still commenting you on yours.
Oh.
As they should. But go on.
I was just so excited when I learned that there was going to be that you got your haircut,
yeah, okay,
and almost as exciting that there was going to be a new Latino publication in Pittsburgh, because we honestly don't have one. And it's fascinating to me how, you know, Pittsburgh really just skews just so white in so many ways. And so it's always exciting when people do things that are culturally different and interesting and relevant to community. And the women that you had on before talking about cultivating the communities that we have here and investing in the people that are already here. It just like, it was the perfect bridge to the conversation that I had with her, because, you know, she just decided to do something. And I appreciate, you know, anybody that just wants to do things and actually does them. So hats off to her. And I'm just really excited. And it's bilingual too. So if you go to the website, you can read any of the web pages in either English or in Spanish, which is great.
It's amazing. And there's such a vibrant Latino community here.
There is,
but you don't really know about it because, like you said, most of the publications are quite Caucasian.
Quite white, yeah. And so it's pretty exciting. And, you know, and I've talked to many immigrants for this show and other shows, and they say, you know, and it's true, Pittsburgh keeps losing population, but the only reason we're sort of holding steady is because of the influx of people from different parts of the world coming here. And so we really need to be embracing that energy. So I was just really honored that she was willing to come on and share her new venture with us.
That was awesome. I thought it was great. I thought what she said was perfect. And like, I don't know how you do it, but you get them to say the perfect thing right before the rap point. Like,
when that last sentence, I was like, and we're done.
I was like, there's nothing. It's just like mic drop them out.
Exactly. We're not going to top that.
I was like, she's got a rap on that.
Exactly.
Like, oh, yeah,
she's like same
You
wavelength.
got the
we
whole
understand.
thing. Yeah. Okay. So speaking of wavelengths and everything, ask Natalie, what's been going on?
Yes.
Anything new or exciting?
I had a really interesting question. I actually got some really interesting responses too from the answers. I love it when my readers not only reach out to me with their questions, but also reach out to say that the column angered them or excited them or made them feel something. And I had people writing me saying that they were really touched by this week's column. And that made me really happy. And it was actually an interesting question I got from a woman whose friend has, I think, felt very emboldened to let her, you know, racist flag fly, so to speak, figuratively. And so she's just been having a really hard time dealing with this woman that she's known for 20 years, who suddenly is being very vocal and being very racist in her views. And she's just not sure what to do. And I thought to myself, this woman can't be the only person experiencing this. I know I'm reevaluating some of my friendships with people that I didn't know certain things that they felt. And at one point you think, well, we can get past this. It's just politics. But now when you're seeing how politics is actually literally killing people in this country, what it's doing on many fronts, it's become a real thing. I think that people are evaluating who they want to have in their lives. And so it got a ton of comments on the U Express, the syndicated website this week, like a ton. And I think it's because it kind of hit a nerve that a lot of people are experiencing this across the country.
Oh no, I can feel that, and I could see where the division lies. Usually it's like, you'd go to places like no religion, no politics. It's like those days are gone. It's just like people are like wearing it like a tattoo on their face. And are just dug so far in that there's nothing else you can do. But I mean, I kind of draw the line on racism. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but theoretically though, like theoretically it's like, I say that, but when I'm actually confronted with a friend or family member, it's hard. I mean, it's not like I speak my mind, Patrick.
Well, I know, but that's why I don't envy.
But it's harder.
That's why I don't envy being an advice columnist in this right now in this time. It's just like, hats off to you for diving in there, because
thanks.
I don't know, like my knee jerk is screw those people, but I'm like, wait a minute, you know what I mean? There's like, sometimes it is screw those people. Like I did some unfriending on Facebook when people were like sharing it's fortunately there's not a lot of like racist BS because I've probably already purged over the years, but like I did some unfriending just from people that were sharing the phony COVID. The fake medical press conference with like demon sperm and all that kind of stuff.
That was wild.
I couldn't take it. I was like, oh my god, you're sharing this. You're like legitimate. I gotta go. I'm not gonna comment.
Right.
We're not gonna talk. We've gone past that point.
Well, it's really funny that you say that, because I am not somebody. I don't respond. Like, I don't comment on any posts on Facebook. I would love to read like what other people are saying, but I don't get involved.
Oh, you're a voyeur.
Oh, I'm a total voyeur when it comes to Facebook. But anyway, so point being, I actually got into it with someone on Facebook. I did not know this person, because that exact thing, I was like, this has gone to a level that this is just, we're spreading misinformation. And he was like, where are you getting your information from? And I just sent him like 3 articles, one from the FDA, one from like the New England Journal of Medicine, like very credible sources. And I think it's important that people remember, when you share something, you need to cite where it's from and who is funding it, who's supporting it, because a lot of this information that's being spread, I ask them, where's your source? Where's your source material? And then it's a blog. And it's like, that's not, but see, we've blurred the lines between bloggers and journalists, and I don't know if there's any going back. That's what concerns me as a journalist.
Especially with lots of newspapers and journalism going away or going very hard.
Yeah, that's like a whole, especially what's going on at the Post-Gazette. This is a historic moment. And of course, right as we're leading up to a major historic election, this paper could end up, on strike. Just thinking of the importance of journalism in this moment, it's intense. I don't envy any of my colleagues at the PG right now.
Yeah, it's a crazy world. But anyway, so maybe we'll talk more about that next week.
Maybe we will, Patrick.
Right. Okay, sounds good. Natalie, thank you so much. And can't wait to have you back. Can't wait to see you come up with for next week for 5 Minutes with Natalie Bencivenga.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Sure, thank you. And don't forget, Natalie is a nationally syndicated advice columnist. If you go to asknatalieadvice@gmail.com, you can get at her that way. So that's awesome. Dave, do we have any poll results before we bring out the man, the myth, the legend that is Dave Bracey?
Yeah, we do, man. We do. And they are not pretty. Again, it's not getting any better. I'm going to bring them up on the screen right now. Take a look at this. No votes for Cinemax total times. Jim Leland, who isn't even in the dang freaking competition, man, is doing good with 50 cents.
Hey, you know what? I tried to vote once and I couldn't vote. So maybe people just can't vote. So hit up the comment section if your vote's not getting not getting there.
Man, this Jagoff's proven to be full of Jagoff.
This is full of Jagoffs. I mean, the Grodin flick was for the Grodin night. We had a whole Grodin experience. Whatever, get it going. Without further ado, I want to bring out, I know the sun's going down, so I don't know where he's at this week. Dave Bracey, little local brews, and the purveyor of Fresh Fest, Beer Fest, Fresh Fest, Digifest. Let's talk about what's going on. What's good with you, Dave?
What's going with y'all, man? First and foremost, fuck Donald Trump. I want to get that out of the way. It's been a really fuck Donald Trump kind of week, man. I heard y'all talking about them doctors and the demon sperm. Like, come on, man. But
alien DNA.
Alien DNA, man. So yeah, fuck that dude. And yeah, I mean, to Natalie's point, man, like Pittsburgh does skew white with the media. I just want to point out the fact that we have barely a black radio station. We got no real like Spanish radio station. And as much shit as we give Cleveland, they got 3 hip hop stations and 2 Latinos music stations. We got barely 1 black station over here. So, as much as we like to be like, oh, shit on the Browns or shit on Cleveland or whatever, culturally, man, they, it seems like a bit more of a comfortable place if you Brown.
Okay, I'm with you on that point, but it's like, I can't be like, yeah, Cleveland's dope because they got 3 radio stations. I mean, there's more going on in Cleveland than just, okay, they got 3 radio stations, but I'm just going to go out on a limb here, all right? And I'm not talking about the Browns, okay? I'm not talking about the Cavs. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm not talking about the Indians changing their logo, but I'm talking, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about media for brown folks, Cleveland is kind of ahead of the curve over there. You know what I mean? Like, so,
for radio, okay, yes.
For radio,
they are ahead of radio when everything's gone
streaming.
Streaming. We're going like we're analog.
I'm not gonna keep bigging up Cleveland. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I mean, that's the last thing I'm gonna do. But
but Cleveland does make the best buggy whips. I mean, it's like it's kind of like radio is what's radio. Anyway, enough about radio. Let's talk about something on the internet.
So speaking of the internet, yeah, Fresh Fest, Digifest. You are for the first time sales are live. If you're in PA right now, you can get the 8-pack. You can get the Fresh Fest 8-pack through Beverages to You right now. So like if you go to beverages2you.com, there's a Fresh Fest Digipack that you can get right now. It comes with 8 different beers from 16 different breweries with 4 different styles. So I'm super excited to announce that. It's the first time I'm able to announce that. In fact, I just found that out like 5 minutes ago through Instagram. Somebody was like, I got it. And I was like, dope. I mean, because that's how I found out most of this shit. Nobody answers emails. They're just like, we're doing it. And I'm like, well, I'm glad it worked out for you guys. So,
well, that's great. Well, we're breaking news here tonight. Dave Bracey loves Cleveland, and you can get these packs right now, right to your door, the 8-packs.
The 8-pack Beverages to You. So in that 8-pack, you will get wise words. I just shopped at DG today. Picked up. Not only did they got this sweet ass can with this sweet ass art. But they got T-shirts, which I mean, like it's the art is amazing. This owl is a hop. It's like a flying hop. Crazy. It's a 8% double IPA, so it's going to be it's a hazy IPA, so it's going to be softer, more tropical on the fruity, side of things, less on the bitter side, and it's going to have that same kind of DG undertone. If you've ever had a DG beer. It's all like, any of the hazy, they kind of have the same DG undertone. I don't know if it's the water or if they just ain't rinsing out, but yeah, I mean, like, cause you know how like seasoned, pans and shit like that will keep the flavor after years. That's why you can't get a Philly cheesesteak outside of Philly. I think it's the same thing with DG. They got something in the water over there that makes it taste like a DG hazy, and you're going to get that with this wise words. And if you get the 8-pack, you're going to get that with the 8-pack with 4 other styles and 14 other breweries. Shout out to War Cloud out in Cali who collaborated on this on the beer. I got a lot of beer to go through, so I'm gonna just keep going through this beer, man. It's
just rip it, grip it, and rip it. Go.
It's quite a bit. So I'm drinking right now this La Noche Triste. It's a milk stout with coffee. I've been with my girl for 8 years now, and this is the first time I've got her to actually admit that a beer tasted good, and she would drink it. She likes sours, but like sours don't typically have a lot of hops in them. They're, you know what I mean, or whatever. And she had this, and she was like, you know what? I could drink that. That's huge. That's fucking huge. So if you like coffee, I can confidently say that if you like coffee and you're not sure about beer, you can drink this beer and you might be a convert. So try that with Butler Brew Works. They've got a release coming out tomorrow with Union Craft down in Maryland. It's called Satellite Surfer. It's another hazy IPA with a bunch of like Galaxy and like crazy space age kind of hops in there. And that'll be dropped tomorrow. You can get it either at Butler Brew Works or you can get it through the 8-pack. Moving along, we have just a little repeat. I just want to remind folks that this Black and Beautiful collab is coming out. Now, this is the Hitchhiker version of it. 11th Hour is dropping one. Couch Brewery and Abjuration did a collaboration on it as well. Hitchhiker ran out, and then Union Brothers. Union Brothers did a collaboration with Drinking Partners, and they'll be dropping theirs next week as well. So there's going to be a lot of Black is Beautiful collabs dropping next week, and proceeds from all of those go to nonprofits and go to charities that are working for equality, and also to help folks that are caught up in the system because it's an unfair system. I know that Union Brothers specifically is going to the Bucket Bail Fund here in Pittsburgh. So if you're looking for ways to, help the cause, but you can't get out, dollars always work. And Bucket Bail Fund, BUKIT bailfund.com or .org. Check those out. It's a great organization doing great work in the city. Moving along.
Where do we get those? Where do we get those Black is Beautiful collabs though?
So you get them from the breweries. So each brewery, so there's 1,000 breweries plus 1,000 plus breweries across the world that are doing this. So there's really no so you can go to blackisbeautiful.com, so you can kind of get a locator or whatever. But I mean, if your favorite brewery is out here, then I suggest going to that brewery.
Cool.
All right, moving along. We got Recon. I stopped over in Butler. Man, I've been busy all across the planet. So Recon Brewing. This is a nice hazy, immaculate. It's another hazy. You're gonna get citrusy notes with low bitter. This one clocks in at about 6. So it's nice. You can drink a couple of them. You can enjoy it. They are collabing on the fest with Uncle Jammy's. So this guy makes sauces and seasons and whatnot. He has this burger season, burg season. It's fucking phenomenal. You shake a little bit of that on a steak or a burger, throw that on the pan for a couple of minutes and then good to go. So he's got a lot of sauces and whatnot. Last year he did a fruity, spicy barbecue sauce that he hooked up with BBC for. So that was I still have some of that in my fridge. It's one of those sparing. I don't know when I'm ever get this, maybe never again. So I just use it very sparingly with So super excited to have them collaborating again this year on the festival. And then I stopped down at Lawrenceville, Hot Farm. Pete would enjoy this. This is a nice lager.
That looks like it's in my wheelhouse. It looks like.
Yeah, it's a lager. It's an easy drinking. It's a dad beer. So this is DOS lager. And again, it's going to be kind of like your. So this is a Vienna style lager. So the Vienna style lagers are a bit more malty, malt forward. They have a little bit of a heftier body. Super I just found them a couple years ago, and they're my favorite. They're my favorite lager. It's like bread. It's like the crust on the bread.
I like that. Yeah. That's good stuff.
Super dope.
Are we still
and then
rolling?
last but not least, had a chance to stop down at Apis.
Nice.
Grab some. So Hot Farm is collabing with Mackenzie Harris. He's a home brewer. He's a Black home brewer. He just got into home brewing a couple of years ago, partially through Fresh Fest, the interest and whatnot. Was home brew. He's been brewing for a little while, and actually just got a job at a brewery up in Buffalo. So super excited about that collab because it's exactly what we're looking for in this festival is cultivating not only just beer drinkers, but actual opportunity in the beer industry. So like I'm super excited about the collaboration with Hop Farm that they're going to be dropping, and that'll be dropping in September. And then Apis down at Carnegie, they've been hit really hard. They've had to like switch their whole operation from like kegs and shipping out or whatever to like straight bottles. So they're not open. They're only open one day a week, but they make some of the best liquid in the city, and they're pairing up with Jackie Page over at Love Rocks, a friend of the cast, and
Love Jackie.
Yeah, and they're doing a jalapeno honey mead, and they're going to be performing. So Jackie is doing a segment for Fresh Fest next week. She'll be kicking off the kitchen, and she will have Dave down there, and they'll have their collaboration, and they'll be making different foods and things of that nature that will pair up nicely with their collaboration mead. So shout out to Apis and Dave, shout out to Jackie, and I'm looking forward to that segment next week. So those are the blues, man. I've been all around the world this week.
I was going to say, I've been all around the world, and by all around the world, I mean Allegheny County.
Allegheny.
Drinking all the way from Butler County to
Butler County, Washington County. I'm still here. I have a driver, but yes,
all 28 miles of the world.
I would recommend following Day on social media, because you will see his exploits. You'll see his eyes, because he's always wearing that mask. Props. In all the current photos, but so Fresh Fest. Go ahead.
So I was going to ask, speaking of masks, when are the Fresh Fest masks going to become available for people to buy?
Man, I don't know. So what happened was like the whole pandemic happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got this. This is an old bag. Like, this was an old Fresh Fest bag. Nice. And my girl was like, we need masks. And she just was like looking around and like cut up a bunch of shit and like sewing up some things. And I was like, oh, that's dope. So I wore it. And I posted a picture of it, and people were like, yo, where can I get that mask? So I was like, I went back there, like, yo, can we get some more of those? But we only had 10 bags. So that's all we got. That's it. We sold 10 masks. In fact, we only sold 8 masks, and I gave 2 away. So that's it, man. There's no more, now we tried doing some Fresh Fest masks, but I mean, it was just a lot. It was a lot to put together.
You've also got a lot on your plate right now, and it keeps on adding every day.
I want
You're
masks,
more stuff.
damn it.
Pete, you make your own mask. The man is spread thin.
The hop looks awesome, though. It's like a great design. The hop fits like perfectly over.
It is.
It's awesome.
We might be looking at some a little later. Yeah, I mean, I got to get through this fest, but I mean, shit, we just packed the box that was going to some dude named Pete Spender today. Yeah, I mean, the cat looked at me and was like, "Why the fuck did Pete order?" I was like, "I don't know, man. People would just be doing shit."
I wanted a T-shirt. I needed a new T-shirt.
Yeah. I mean, I think that kind of comes along.
I'm gonna be real though.
Sponsorship.
I'm gonna be real though. Pete did need a new T-shirt. He does need a new T-shirt. I've seen the same 3 T-shirts get recycled for 20 weeks.
Yeah, most of the T-shirts I wear are the ones that I make for my events, so it's nice to have T-shirts from other people's events.
I've been wearing the same fresh shirt for a month now. Like, I just bought a new shirt today.
Look, I'm gonna be real. I think it's wrong for you guys to wear your own company stuff. I just don't want to see it. I don't want. Why are you promoting your own shit? It's not cool. It's not cool. Like, why would you want to do that? So anyway,
Barebones Production T-shirts are available at barebonesproductions.org.
Go to barebonesproductions.org.com or .net, and you can get your very own.
I saw you featured in the Sunday paper this week. You know what I mean? Like, putting in work.
Right next to you, my friend. It was right next to the Fresh Fest article. I noticed.
Oh, I know that guy.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, that was a weird times, but yeah.
So the drinking.
Go ahead.
Oh no, finish.
No, I'm done. Good.
Well, I was going to ask. I just listened to the new Drinking Partners podcast you guys dropped with Alex Bard, which was great because I've been working with him out at 25 Carrick. How often are those coming out? How often?
I mean, we've been recording them about once a week. We doubled up on a couple, but man, we're in pandemic / fest mode. So it's like we had this grand plan to drop every week and then even drop some in the middle of the week. But COVID and time and resources wasn't having that. So, I mean, at this point, like, because I didn't even. Thank you for listening, because you only heard that because you actually listen to the podcast regularly.
Yeah.
We didn't even post that anywhere. Like, I haven't even, like, I'm too busy posting, like, sponsors and collab drops and artists. Like, I haven't even had a chance to tell people that we talked to somebody and had a significant conversation. So thank you for listening. And, man, I'm behind on my shit. But, yeah, we hope to have that once a week.
Dave, before we wrap, I want you to be here when we announce the poll, right? The overnight poll for tomorrow. I want to get your take on it. I want to see where you're going to vote on it. Okay. So
okay.
Dave Mansueto, can we run what the overnight, the weekend overnight? This is 5
Do you want
days of
we
voting.
should wrap. We should wrap tonight's poll though. The
Okay.
in-show
Well, that's
poll.
already okay. That's fine. All right. Let's wrap it.
Can we
Dave.
do that? We're
We
gonna
can do
wrap
that.
it.
I
I'm
was
gonna
gonna wrap
close it right
after.
now.
All right. Okay. Close it
Shit.
because there's like sixes.
You're not gonna like this.
It's a
Patrick.
friggin' tie, isn't it?
It is.
It's a goddamn tie. And it's one of them shouldn't even be in there.
It's right. And Jim Leland has tied.
All right.
Lloyd McClendon.
Okay, that's fine. Look, you didn't see the footage yesterday, but we had the footage of Lloyd McClendon stealing first base and Jim Leland like getting into Barry Bonds' face, dropping like 15 F-bombs, saying, I'm the manager, don't blah, 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 blah. So anyway.
That's a classic.
All right, fine. Okay. Day, for the second night in a row, this thing ties. And we had we had another guest pick Lloyd McClendon taking first base. Which do you think should move on in this poll?
I mean, okay, so I haven't enjoyed Pirates baseball since,
Right.
Barry Bonds was a part, Bobby Bonilla, Andy Van Slyke. So,
Bobby Bonilla is still getting paid, by the way, $1 million a year every year for another 10 years.
Every year, man. I mean, so I'm gonna have to go with the Lloyd. I mean, that's the Jim Leland. I'm gonna have to go with Jim Leland over here. Yeah.
Okay, so now Jim Leland wins. So now we have to bring them both back again tomorrow.
Because go with Jim Leland, man.
All right, okay. Jim Leland ripping Barry Bonds a new one and kind of like watching him stutter on video at spring training. Okay, dope. All right, so there it is. All right, so Jim Leland carries it now. Now, the big thing, the bread, the meat and potatoes, the overnight poll, the one that is trying to get there. Dave Mansueto. Break this off, and I want Dave. I want to see where Dave votes.
Oh, baby, look at that pickle, look at that Sally. Sally Wiggin versus the Heinz Pickle Pin. These are two of Pittsburgh's faves going head-to-head in a competition of who is the most Pittsburghy on this, your overnight jag-off.
Get the vote going. The winner makes
come
it.
on. How is this even we already know. I'm going with the Wiggins. We go with Wiggins over here, man. Like, come on. The pickle? I mean, nah, man. I ain't even. Nah, yeah, Sally Wiggins all day with the S. Sally Wiggins with the S. I don't even know who Wiggins is without the S. I ain't even.
See? All right, so what we're going to do before we wrap this up, I want to thank everybody. We're going to remind everybody to wear a mask, but I don't want to hang this off. You know what? Let's do a rock block. Let's do a quick rock. Do you want to do the rock block, Dave? Are you ready to do a rock block? Well, we're going to end with Sally, but we're going to start with Bane. Let's talk Bane masks.
No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
There you go. Let me see Batman.
Wear a mask.
I'm not afraid to be seen standing up to these guys.
The mask's not for you. It's to protect the people you care about.
Another hero, Bruce Springsteen.
Put on a fucking mask.
Okay, and now, to end the show, to end our week, to cap week 20, episode 67. Take it home, Sally.
When I walk out and there's someone without a mask and they come too close to me, I'm just racked with fear, and then I want to punch them in the face.
Sally Wiggins.
Love you, everybody.
With an S.
Stay safe. Wear a mask. Don't be a dick. If you're getting takeout, tip on the takeout. And If you go to a restaurant, be safe and tip at the restaurant because people need it. And don't be cool with people. Cover your nose.
Fucking pod with people. Don't like just go to party. I know so many people that are like hanging out with people. I'm like, what the fuck is your problem?
I don't know when it happened. I'm freaked out about it. There's 6 porta potties at Westinghouse Park right now, and I don't know why. They can't have I don't know why. Is there a party going on? I have no idea what's happening. So anyway, stay safe, everybody. Stay home.
That's going into the porta potty conversation. Where are people supposed to go to the bathroom or get water when you're biking or running and it's 93, 95, 100 degrees outside? Like, I'm sorry, but there needs to be a better system for this. I know that no one expected a global pandemic, but at the same time, if you're out there exercising because there's not shit else to do, where are you going to get fresh water? Where are you going to get, where are you going to be able to go to the bathroom? I mean, like, I'm a dude, so I'm cool with just popping off on the side of a trail and peeing in the woods. But like, where are people supposed to get fresh water if you're like on a long bike ride or you're on a run? These are things that the city needs to work on. I mean, I'm not laying blame. I'm just saying, like, shit needs to be talked about. That's my 2 cents. Good night, everyone. Peace.